And it was a very hard transition for me because I wasn't used to being given business.
Wow. Interesting.
So I realized that just was not for me. Mm-hmm. It feels different getting organic leads, so it's different where people are reaching out to you because they follow you and they like you, they like your personality, they like what you do, they like what you believe in, and they go and they pursue you. And it's a different type of client, that genuinely wants to work with you rather than a random individual that just needs you to put in a contract for them. So that was the difference.
Hey gang, this is Mike Headley. We are back, another great episode on the Headley Group Real Estate Show. Who do we have here? We have a young lady who's seasoned now. And before we talked to her, she was kind of newbie in the business, but she's well seasoned. I want to make sure I get all these labels and titles correctly. Real estate broker. Am I correct?
Correct.
And I don't want to release yet, I'm unsure, but I'll have you release your new venture. But for now, we're going to say real estate broker in the Florida market. Been in the game, experience, making it happen. Let's give a warm welcome to Miss Kalia Nurse. Actually, she's my cousin. How you doing? That's right. First cousin at that. That's right. So first of all, how you been doing?
I'm doing well. As much as I could be maneuvering through the day and being a single mom and getting through this market, it's a lot. It's a lot. But it really is a lot. Complain.
Yeah, I guess it's just amazing how then 5 or 6 months ago, it's like we're in a totally different market. You agree?
Yes.
Totally different market.
Yes.
We're going to touch on all that good stuff.
Yes,
so,
please.
Miss Kalia.
Yes.
Real estate broker.
Mm-hmm.
How long you been licensed?
I have been licensed to 2018.
Mm-hmm. So is that 5 years? Make sure my math is right.
Yeah.
Like 3-4 years, huh? 4?
Yeah.
5. I had to give them. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, hey, listen. Now, like I said during the show, you're not a newbie no more. Well experienced. You've had your share of highs and lows, correct?
I have.
Mm-hmm.
I have.
Mm-hmm.
I can't recall when we last talked and we had this podcast. I don't believe that I was full time. Was I?
Round of applause with that, please. Now, full time. And before you dive into that a little bit more, let's really highlight that question. I'm gonna make a statement, then I want to hear your thoughts on this. You can't see your full potential if you don't take it full. If you don't be full time, you agree?
Okay, so I'm 50-50 on that.
Okay. Let me hear.
Okay, so when I first started, I was working full time and for the government, and the agency that I was working at, they were very liberal, so they allowed me to do what I need to do, and they wasn't on me. So I was able to do a lot. Still doing real estate and still being able to work there, and it was not a conflict of interest for them. Mm-hmm. So I started booming very early, doing full time, working full time with the government. So, honestly, if we don't have no time to go through what actually happened to me, the reason why I went full time. But if those issues didn't occur, and I was still able to be with a company that allowed me to do what I wanted to do. That, the security of working full time, is a good thing to have, but if you don't have a company that allows you to do what you need to do, you're going to have a problem, and it is going to block your potential big time.
Gotcha.
So that's majority of the case for a lot of people.
Exactly.
So they have to branch out.
Okay. So you're a one-off, basically, because you mentioned something. The company gave you, allotted you to pretty much do as you want to do, right? And like you said, a lot of companies don't have that. So, and I think that's the angle I was coming from.
Yes.
Because you miss out on showings, and during business hours, people may say, I want you to come by 11 o'clock in the morning, but you got to be at work, But you had that opportunity, which afforded you to be full-time now.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Absolutely.
Since last time we talked, I know we had conversations. I know you was with another firm. I think you was with another one. Where you at now?
I am with United Realty Group.
United Realty Group.
So as a broker, my title is broker associate.
Nice. Okay. And since the transition, what would you say? Because I'm quite sure. So you was at two other companies or one other company prior? Two
prior to this one.
Prior to this one. And I'm coming from this angle because we do have brokers who watch the show, and it's like, man, do I leave, or what do I expect? And each company operates differently, different set of procedures and protocols. What did you take from learning experience coming from the two other companies that you're applying now?
The two other companies were night and day. The first company that I was with didn't really have it when I first started, didn't really have those type of resources like leads and a lot of formal training and stuff like that. So I learned what, they all call, I got it from the mud. So I really went in, head first. And I appreciate that now because a lot of realtors, they are, they're living vicariously through other real estate professionals. So they're like adopting other people's practices. And sometimes that stuff just does not work for you, So I went in there with fresh eyes, fresh mind, and I bumped my head, I stumped my toe. I went through all of that on my own, and that's how I learned instead of somebody holding my hand. And I appreciate that, And the second company, they gave leads. So, they were like, here you go, here's business. And it was a very hard transition for me because I wasn't used to being given business.
Wow, interesting.
So I realized that just was not for me. It feels different getting organic leads, So it's different where people are reaching out to you because they follow you and they like you, they like your personality, they like what you do, they like what you believe in, and they go and they pursue you. And it's a different type of client, that genuinely wants to work with you rather than a random individual that just needs you to put in a contract for them. So that was the difference.
Okay. I actually, here at the company, when brokers go through hell, so to speak, and it's a rocky one, they get ready to give up, they get frustrated, don't want them to go through it, but actually, it's a good thing. Like you just mentioned a minute ago about how you learned so much. Training classes, watch videos, etc. But nothing's like the true experience in actually going through the fire yourself. As long as you got, I guess, a navigator to help you not bump your head so hard. But I think sometimes it's good for you to get burnt a little bit so you know how to And or you say, I don't want to go back that way no more. So I'm going to make sure that I'm well equipped moving forward.
Yes.
With that being said, what would you advise someone who's on the verge of, I'm unsure about making this move, but I don't like it where I'm at now, but I want to go somewhere else, but I'm just really unsure. What suggestions or advice would you give them?
So definitely do your research. That's the most important thing. You are interviewing brokerages. Just be clear. Sometimes they'll say, well, brokerage is interviewing you, which is, it's all good, but in all, it's really up to you.
That's
you
true.
know, so you need to research the brokerage, see what all that they offer, and please read those agent contracts because these things that are hitting in there would get you later on. Okay. So
tell me the fine print. What?
The fine print.
Oh,
please, you read it. And I know the glitz. And sometimes some brokerages, they have glitz and glamour and all this stuff. But the most important thing and what works for you, your family, your finances. Because I went with my brokerage currently because it's 100% brokerage. So it's minimal. There's no desk fees. There's nothing. And at the point in my life, I really don't need the assistance anymore. And when you go to those type of brokerages, they usually do not give you any type of help, assistance, or anything like that. So you have to be fully confident in yourself and be very independent if you're going to go to that type of brokerage. If you know yourself, you have to know yourself. You have to know, I need a little help. I need more training. I need this. So, and what is the beauty about real estate? There's tons of real estate brokerages out there.
Correct.
And they all provide different things. So do your research. And when you find that one, make sure you ask them for their agent contract so you can read it ahead of time. And then you will make that decision on what's going to be best for you, and take your calculator out.
I like that.
Think about how much money you're going to be making, how much money you're going to bring in, and see if it's worth it for you. And you can go from there. So that's my advice. Read.
I like that. You said something. Let me peel back a little bit. The presentation. First you go on, you join it. Well, you go to interview a company and bring out the bells and whistles, right? And I think people get caught up with that, but don't pay attention to the underlining, like you said a minute ago, the actual contract. And are they providing support or providing training? If I need a question answered on a Sunday, 11 o'clock at night, I understand people get busy, but again, I'm new, but this is what you said you provide. Will I get a call back? Can I get in contact with you? Because the real estate don't stop on a Sunday, right?
No.
Exactly, right?
Nope.
So
that is very important. I'm glad you mentioned that too. How much access do you have to the broker? Because if you can't get in contact with him and you have to go through his assistant and then go through his assistant to the assistant and the transaction assistant and person to get to the broker,
it's too many hurdles.
It's like, that's too much. Like, and then you ask, it's important to ask the systems that are in place to provide for the agent, the agent support, basically. That's true, because it really depends. Like where I'm at right now, I don't care. What's the quickest way for me to get my check? That's where but that's not the same for everybody else.
Correct.
So it's important as a real estate professional to know where you are with your knowledge, with what you need. Everybody learns differently too. So be very aware of where you stand and don't just because other people are saying, oh, do this, do that, go here, go there. You make a decision for yourself, because that will directly affect your productivity in the market as being, real estate professional.
And I want to peel back to something you said. Joining the 100% brokerages, you're getting your money, but the flip side is, hey, we're not going to give you that much support. I don't want to speak for your company, but I know there's a lot of companies out there like that. If you feel as though, like you just said, hey, I need that training, I need that support, who can I call? Then that may not be the route to go, because you're focused on 100%. You might need to settle for the 50-50, 60-40, 70-30 for now, until you be able to transition like a Kalia, get 5 years into the business, or sooner, when you got the experience to say, hey, cut the umbilical cord, I can fly on my own.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I always tell my mentees that I have some mentee realtors.
Oh, you have mentee. There we go.
I do.
That's experience right there talking.
Yes. And I always tell them, do not let money drive you. Because the minute you do that, you start making horrible decisions. I mean, everywhere in real estate. Who you work with, how you conduct a transaction, how you communicate and pursue your future clients. So, and we all, we feel people energy, when you have somebody that's money hungry and they just want that dollar and they harassing you. I don't know about you, but the minute somebody called me too much, I'm like, I don't want to deal with that person anymore. You too in my face,
Gotcha.
But that's me personally. So I always tell everyone is your follow-up game have to be on point, but don't harass. Don't, give people their space and their time. Do what it is that you need to do to be present, but, make good decisions, but don't let it be because you got to pay a bill and I need this listing. So let me call her 2-3 times a day. No, and the decisions that you make on your brokerage and all of that, don't let, even if they are taking an X amount of dollars in percentage, maybe they have great training that you're going to grow so much because of that training. Do that. Don't do just because it's just temporary. You just starting. You're not making money now.
That's right.
So you might as well take that time, that beginning stages, and train. Do what it is that you have to do, and then go for it.
I like that. I mean, hit so many points with that. What would you say to brokers who feel as though real estate agents are brokers? They get their license, they get into the business, and initially people are pulling at them. Hey, listen, show me this property, help me list this property, but the training is not there. So they feel as though, I don't need that. I'll figure it out. What do you say to them?
So, every day I am dealing with agents that are really winging it, and they are killing the deal.
Bingo.
Annihilating it. I mean, making everybody's life harder. Because they just don't have that basic, training in customer service, communication. You may not know exactly what's on the contract verbatim and be like the scholar, the real estate scholar. It's just the simple things of, don't do that. That's not a good idea to, do this or do that. It's just an etiquette. I call it real estate etiquette. So there's certain things just to make, to show that you know what you're doing and that you respect people's, their profession and their time. So when you don't have that formal training and that basic training in the beginning, it really does make things very, very, very hard for a realtor. Because in the beginning, I didn't have that, as far as like, oh, here's a contract, here's the formal training, this, that, and the third. But it was from my previous experiences with customer service. Gotcha. I was always in a customer service driven profession. So thank God I had that basic of how to talk to people, how to write an email. Don't use capital letters when you say, stuff like that. Because sometimes a customer will come to you and be like, I've interviewed so many realtors, but I'm going to deal with you because you make me feel good. You're so nice. It's just you being nice and just the way that you talk and that you care about what they have going on, not what's on your agenda.
Are you looking for a real estate brokerage to help you buy or sell your property? The Headley Group Realty is here to assist you with that process. We also hire brokers to join us and give them the best training and mentorship, leading to a great office atmosphere and an attractive commission structure. Our goal is to show homeownership at the highest professional level and empower the real estate business. If you're interested in buying or selling your property, visit www.theheadleygroup.com or call us at 336-904-6212. We look forward to partnering with you.
Like I said, so many good points with that. I actually have a class that I came up with about a few months ago because I've noticed that was lacking. What we're talking about now, basic communication, how to write an effective email without sounding condescending and insulting, without sounding braggadocious. How to communicate with a seller or a buyer upon initial, and from my perspective, how that should look during the process. And we taught a class with that. Everybody really enjoyed it. And I think that part there could be missing with a lot of training with some brokerages. It's like the license, okay, call your sphere, but if they don't really understand how to go about doing that, the right verbiage, like you mentioned, it will cause a major hiccup. And just to elaborate on that a little bit more, I actually had a transaction about a couple of years ago. I was on the buyer side, and buyer made an offer, and I could tell the broker was inexperienced, the listing broker. So I don't know if you experienced this. I don't know if it's a male thing, but it was he was like fighting me, so to speak, when I would suggest something. So
very combative.
The deal almost died based off the inspections. So I gave him the correct verbiage, what I think was correct at the time, to pass on to his seller so we can get this deal worked out.
Right.
But what I had to do, back to the communication class, was to come at him in terms of making him think that it's not a threat. It's us working together as a team, because people egos can get into place. We're working together as a team. Let's get this deal closed. Here's my suggestion. Not telling you what to do. Here's my suggestion. Here's how I would approach it. I would write it in this format. He took the email, cleaned it up a little bit. I had added his stuff onto it, but the majority of it is what I said, pass it on to a seller. Long story short, we end up getting the deal closed. But stuff like that, communicating with the other broker, making sure that we all align together on the same page. But kudos, I definitely agree with you on that. 100%.
We're a team. We are a team.
A team. we are. And what's funny is that I don't know why it's this you against me. No, we working together. Right?
Working
and
together.
I think if you start off upon initial,
the
email, hey Kalia, looking forward to working with you. You need something from me, let me know. That first right communication, it's like, okay, Kalia, no, I got somebody I'm working with. We're going to make this happen. Not, well, and this how it is. Usually you could tell new ones when they start quoting the contract. Section 2 point, you say, oh yeah, I can tell it. I can tell they fresh out of school, right?
gosh.
We ain't doing nothing to violate the contract, but you don't have to hit me with section 2.5. I mean, anyway, it's another conversation.
I just got that email today. Matter of fact,
they knew? Probably knew, most likely.
You know, I don't know. It's just, you know, in South Florida, because, you know, I'm Florida, you know, broker. But Wild
West, I heard throughout the country.
South Florida. Yes, South Florida. You know, I don't know if you all hear when people say, you know, people that are from Miami, they say, "You from Florida?" Like, no, I'm from Miami. It is a totally different atmosphere down here. It is, and it's a melting pot. And you're dealing with all different type of individuals and people and cultures. And it's such a beautiful thing. I love it here. But you have the customer service and tearing down those biases. If you don't tear down those biases, man, you're gonna put that glass ceiling.
You're in a box.
You're in a box because you want to work. You want to be able to work with everybody. Everybody, because that is who's buying. If you stay within a certain demographic, your real estate career is going to be so limited.
Correct.
So limited. So you have to mingle, you have to talk to people, you have to be around different environments, and it's so important. So important.
Let me ask you something here as you talk about that. Just like there's a show, Dateline 2020, where we ask the hard questions. Hey, we letting our hats off here.
Uh-oh.
I just got to keep it real. As a black woman in this real estate space, because sometimes I think because I hate the elephant in the room, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Black woman, being a woman, have you encountered, saw discrimination towards you or some form of racism?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Almost on a daily basis. Almost on a daily basis. And not blatantly, where it's like, oh, you know, you putting out your boxing gloves. But it's more or less of that I have to prove my intelligence.
Gotcha.
All the time. And I'll send an email out and I will get a comment, "Oh, you wrote that email so well." Okay.
Wow.
I went to college.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's like, little sly things and also with being in this career, you have to pay attention to a lot of things because people will try to get things, try to put things over your head, try to be slick.
Got you.
And so you have to know your stuff, know what's the laws, what's not, what's how things go, because if they look at you and think automatically like, oh, I'm gonna try her. Oh yeah, this is the disclosure. This is how you're supposed to do it. This is by law. And I'm like, oh no, exactly. This is what this is, because they automatically think that you don't know. So that is basically what I go through. I go through the the intelligence type of thing, and then they try
smart.
So you will have to, and it gets annoying. It gets really annoying with that, and you just have to keep your cool, because no matter what, it's not about you.
Gotcha.
It's about your client and you sealing that deal, getting that offer accepted, all of that, because you can't control somebody else's upbringing.
Correct.
That's how they roll. You're not going to convert them during that, maybe. after your transaction, because you was so professional,
nice,
they're going to look at, your demographic a little bit different, possibly. I don't know. But that's neither your concern. All you need to do is just do what it is that you have to do to the utmost and the best, and provide the greatest customer service and get that deal closed, period.
You literally answered the question, because I was going to ask you what tips you got. You just gave it to us. Professionalism, knowledgeable, and customer service. You put them three things in action, you should win every time. Because I was going to ask you, how would you recommend someone dealing with that? And you answered it for us.
Yes.
And the reason why I asked that question, because again, the guests we have on the show, I start to hear off the air the experiences that they was experiencing. I said, listen, we need to put that out there, because now we can show another agent broker somewhere else and say, okay, well, this is the approach I should take it, because I saw someone else's experience the same thing. So that's why I asked you that question.
Yes.
Let me segue a little bit. Get into the real estate business. You're an agent broker. Now you feel as though I can sell anything. I can sell everything. What do you tell them brokers who got a license? Now they want to jump into commercial. They want to do leasing. They want to sell big apartment buildings, which is, I'm quite sure you're licensed to do that. But what would you tell somebody who has that much ambitious and eagerness to do that tomorrow?
It's a beautiful thing. Ambition is great. But if you going in without doing your research, it goes back to research. It goes to connecting with the right people. If you are in a brokerage that are only deal with residential, that's basically their, that's the only thing. There's nobody in there that have any knowledge in commercial, but you want to do commercial. Maybe that's not where you need to be. Or you could be there, but you start networking and you start, there's so many webinars and mixers. And it's one thing about this real estate career is that the opportunities are endless.
That's
if
right.
you want something and want to learn something, you could grab a book, you could go to a seminar, you could go to YouTube, and shout out to the Headley group YouTube videos at thebomb.com.
Appreciate that.
So you have all of these resources, and please, whatever that you want to do, the information is out there. And that's what a realtor reached out to me, want me to be her mentor. And she was like, I want to do commercial. And she hasn't closed not one deal yet. Okay. So I was like, okay, it's great. That's a great ambition, but let's start with the basics first, because commercial is a whole nother animal. And if you go without the basics, then you won't know the foundation of how you do commercial, and then you build onto it. And
Correct.
That is, you have to research and you got to be connected. With commercial, it's really is who you are connected to, because even your sphere of influence, if they're not buying commercial buildings and they're not doing commercial leasing, then you don't have any business.
That's right.
So how are you going to connect with these individuals, these business owners and all that stuff to tap into that? That's, it's a lot, but
It is.
You have to dive into it and tap into that particular market and saturate yourself in it. That is the only way you will be able to be successful. You can't just go in and be like, oh yeah, I'm ready. Yeah. No, you gotta, that's a whole nother ball game there.
And just to add on to that, that the commercial business, the commercial real estate, clearly you're licensed to work in that field, but I think people don't quite realize that the kind of clientele you're dealing with, not saying that people buy residents who's not sophisticated, but in terms of possibly a high IQ, these are business owners, probably probably own several franchises.
That's right.
Or you can have the one-off mom and pops that own a small restaurant, but they have money and they have access. So I've always looked at it as if turn the tables around, you're an owner and you see a broker that wants to list or help you find something. I want the best person. Preferred experience. But if you don't have the experience, you become, like we talked about a second ago, professionalism and knowledgeable. And how do you become knowledgeable? Kalia just touched on it. Go into networking events. Learn as much as you can. And I would probably say you might want to probably be a part of a commercial firm who focus solely on commercial. And not saying that you can't do it with residential, but if this is the environment in its entirety, chances are you'll probably pick up on them leads that they don't want to deal with. And you can learn so much.
That's right.
And there's so many designations out there. I'm sorry, go ahead.
The environment. I was just saying, I could completely agree. It's an environment. You're hearing the terms. You seeing the paperwork. You hearing what's happening with other, your other colleagues, what they're going through. You know, if you just absorb, especially being around them all the time and you hearing all the time, you're going to start picking it up, and you didn't even really close the deal yet. You know?
That's it. And I mean, just one more thing I was going to touch on that is it's a designation called CCIM. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Okay, I'm quite sure you are. And they actually, for minorities, they have a scholarship, and they're based out of Chicago. And it's a scholarship to actually apply to get that designation. Now, to get that designation is like you're going back to college. It's very intense. I applied back in 2017, took 101. Well, it was a beast. Passed 101, but they got 102, 103, and 104. And they literally have classes throughout the country. So you won't probably get it right in your backyard. You might have to go to Tennessee. You might have to go to LA for 103 if you want to do it in succession.
Right.
But not only that, once you complete the course, you have to be able to sold so many in volume to actually receive that pen. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is in terms of Black and brown people, I could just say, throughout the country, we probably make up 1%, if not 0.5% of that designation. Like, we're not seen in that space. The reason why I think a lot of us are intimidated by it, the commercial space. If I had the opportunity to start all over again, I think I would have started in commercial versus residential. I think I would have shifted right in there, but nobody kind of guided me. Like, I didn't really understand it, so I took the residential route. But anyway, but I just wanted to digress from that, but I want to touch on that. If you are interested in the commercial space, surround yourself in that environment, become so knowledgeable, because you're dealing with very intelligent, sophisticated people, and they kind of want people to know what they're talking about and well experienced. If you don't have the experience and you got a team around you who is experienced. That's
right. I agree.
Kalia, investors, first-time home buyers, or just listings? What do you prefer?
First-time home buyers are my babies.
Oh, really?
I love, when I say that it's a thing in my heart for first-time home buyers, because of before I got into real estate, I purchased 2 homes before I even became a realtor. So nice. I had a very bad experience. And that what drove me to become a realtor, because I was like, I don't want anybody to go through what I went through.
Interesting.
And I felt that the realtors could have prepared me better for what was to come, because first-time home buyers, we don't know anything.
Correct. Okay.
All we know is, like I said, we live vicariously through other buyers. Because we don't, we looking at mommy and daddy, when they bought their home, that was like a whole different world. They had different things going on and stuff. So
if they own a home,
if they own, right?
Exactly.
You had nobody to go to. And so we're looking towards these real estate professionals to lead and guide the way, and to let them know, like the little stuff that we don't think of telling them, because it's transaction after transaction. You become a robot.
Correct.
But what I do is, everybody is like my first time home buyers. I'm really grooming them to become investors.
Nice.
So I'm teaching them like the loan, like what's a DTI? How do you get your interest rate? How do you buy down your interest rate? All of that. And the reason why, too, I know all of this because now I'm a mortgage loan originator.
Well, I got to interject. That was the next question. I was going to say, are we working on any new ventures? But I had you put that out there. Say it one more time for the people in the back.
I am now a mortgage loan originator with Highlands Residential Mortgage.
Nice. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. And the reason why I got into this is because I just wanted to broaden my knowledge even more, so I could be of greater help to my clients. I just feel like it's very important for them to understand the intricacies of what they're getting themselves into. So when they continue to buy and they're dealing with other real estate professionals, if I'm not here or I can't help them or they don't want to work with me, whatever the case is, nobody is putting the wool over their eyes.
Nice. Correct.
Because they know so much. And once you got the knowledge, you may fall and stumble, but you may not, fall and stumble and break your leg. You might scuff your knee a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's my goal. And I'm just so grateful to have this type of knowledge. And that's why first time home buyers are like my favorite.
Are you looking to join a winning team? Join us as a broker and receive high-level training, mentorship, and an awesome commission structure. If you're interested, visit www.theheadleygroup.com or call us at 336-904-6212. We look forward to partnering with you.
The fact that you are a loan originator, as well as a real estate broker, you said you went down that field so you can have the additional knowledge. Yes. With that being said, the market has literally shifted on us within the last 6 months, 90 days. Oof. Right now, where do you see things going? Not necessarily in your backyard in South Florida, Miami, but literally throughout the country. Why don't you give us some commentary on that?
Yes. So what I'm experiencing right now is what I call it, which we think is the other way around, but I call it buyer's remorse. The buyer's remorse is what we usually know it as, that they buy a house and they're remorseful that they went and bought that particular home. They're not happy.
Correct.
But it's the opposite. The buyers now are remorseful that they didn't buy the house when it was a 2% interest rate, 2.5 interest rate. So they have cousins, friends, family that bought this huge home and was able to afford it, and they made the same amount of money they made. But now they are getting approved for a significantly less amount of money than the people that they know that purchased a year ago, 2 years ago. So they're looking at the inventory and they're like, I do not like the houses at all that are in my budget. That is what's happening right now.
Okay.
So I literally have so many pre-approvals. Ready to go.
Really? Okay.
But they're looking at the market and they're like, they feel so defeated. And they're, like I said, they're remorseful. So it's more emotions that buyers are going through right now. They're very emotional. And it's like I have to shift their mindset from emotions to investment, being an investor.
Okay.
What's the bottom line? What are you going to achieve? This is not your first home. This is not your forever home. what the market could go into, that we could, you'll be able to do more investments just from that investment. And that's why I have to talk to them about the future, because right now they're like, this sucks.
I can imagine.
That's what's happening right here, right now. And you could talk to any agent right now. Everybody is going through the same thing.
Let me ask you something here, and I'm gonna challenge that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think some of the pushback could have been, I don't want to get in the bidding war and overpay, or I don't want to put too much inspection money up, due diligence, whatever that looks like? Did you get anything from that? Or?
True. Some of them, I'm gonna be honest, the first-time home buyers, they were very naive about what was happening. Mm-hmm. All they knew was they saw Pookie with, this big old house paying only $2,000 a month. That's it. They didn't know about the intricacies on how he got that house. He paid $30,000 over appraised value. They didn't know that. They're just seeing what they have, and they know, well, I make around the same amount of money as he do, so I should have that same type of home. And this is not, it's a significant difference. Like, this person got a single family home, but now that individual that makes the same amount can only afford a townhouse. Like, it's like a big difference.
Crazy. Yeah.
And because the mortgages went up, with the points going up so high, it literally went up like $400 or $500 a month in mortgage. People are paying. So that shot the DTI straight through the roof.
DTI, what is that?
That's debt to income ratio.
Okay.
So how they figure that out is they look at all your monthly payments on your credit report, and they add all those up, and then they add in your proposed monthly mortgage of what, the purchase price that you want to be at, and they divide it by your income. And that is going to yield a ratio or a percentage. That percentage have to be below the threshold for whatever loan product that you decide to choose, and what you can, of course, get qualified for. So we, as loan officers, we have to reduce that purchase price to get that debt to income ratio to be in the allowable amount for your FHA loan or your conventional loan or whatever loan that you decide to use. So now it's like we're just taking it lower, which they was like, wait, I can't get what I want. Can I have a little bit more? And then that's when, okay, well, you could buy down your interest rate. That's money. You could pay down your debts. That's money. So it's like, they're like, I don't have enough.
Gotcha.
To buy the house and to do all this other stuff as well. So they're putting things on hold. They're paying down their debts, or some people have to pay off their car just to be able to afford the type of home they want. So the conversation that I have with my clients is, what is more important? Is it location? Is it the type of home? It's like I have to draw their minds into what are you trying to achieve for you and your family? Once we got that down pat, then we're able to figure out, we got to strategize. This is the season of strategizing. You got to strategize, because you will be walking aimlessly and you won't get anything done.
Exactly. What I got out of that, people interested in buying a piece of property, minimize, get rid of that debt. Would you agree, Kalia?
Yeah.
Minimizing that debt. And I'm a big fan. I hate debt. Right?
And teaming up helps right now.
Got you. Okay. Teaming up.
So if you're able to team up with somebody to help with that DTI, debt to income ratio, and add some more income in there, that helps mom, dad, uncles, aunts. I'm seeing it all.
Gift letters.
Gift letters, but not really gift. It's more or less putting more income.
Okay.
We need more income in the mix so they could afford more house.
So do the money has to be seasoned or tomorrow $50,000 to that bank account? Can't do that.
No, it's not really even the money. It's just it's straight up like pay stubs. Like okay,
gotcha. Okay, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like it's the income. We need the income in there to mix with the other person's income to make them qualified, because the monthly mortgage is not a big deal for, a lot of my buyers. They're like, we'll pay. We just want the house that we want. I get it.
The back end
I understand. Mm-hmm. So we gotta think of different ways. Realtors, we sit down with your loan officers that you are teaming up with and talk about strategies. What should we say to the buyer? What should we do? How can we maneuver? Because there's so many ways that we can make the numbers work.
Nice.
So many ways. It's just sitting and communication. And if you don't have a loan officer that you can sit down with and chop it up with and be like, listen, I'm frustrated. What do you think I should do? And that's the blessing with me, is that for me to be a realtor, broker, loan officer, I done seen it all. I've seen it. I understand. And so, that's what it is.
We're only licensed in Florida throughout the country.
Yeah, loan officer just in Florida for right now.
Florida. Gotcha. Okay. You never know. Them a league can say, hey, can you qualify me? I'm all the way in Jersey. Somebody watching the show.
I can't wait. Yeah.
Can't wait. So it's coming soon though.
Yeah, I'm definitely expanding, growing. I love it. I love real estate, period. That's why anything outside of real estate, I don't know. I'm not really interested in it right now.
Okay. Kalia, we asked two guests two golden nuggets. Scripture, book quote, something you've seen on the billboard, inspiring, that you can pass on to the guests. What we got?
I don't have anything. Well, I don't know about a quote.
Anything.
I'm very faith-based, and I always tell my mentees or anybody that wants to get into real estate is that it's important to get your personal life in order and at peace when you are doing this type of business. Because the individuals that you work with, they're looking to you for guidance. And when you are all over the place and you are not focused, and you have a lot of things going on in your personal life, it transcends into your real estate career. So it's important to really find that faith and your peace and whatever it is that helps you to gather your personal life and to make your personal life and put it in order. It's hard to explain, but it's like every time things are going crazy in my life and I see my real estate career kind of it gets messed up in some type of way, is because I'm not focused. I'm all over the place. So take the time to work on yourself. Pray, meditate, whatever you need to do. You feel like your kids driving you nuts, whatever, it literally will, it hurts your business. Your clients, they feel that energy. When you have anxiety, when you're short-tempered, whatever the case is, pull back. Get yourself together. Pull it together. Do whatever that you need to do to be at peace. Because if you don't do that, it is going to create problems with you, with colleagues, with your clients. So that's my take, and my advice is just, this is a lot going on right now in this world and this business, that you have to center yourself and be at peace and have faith that everything is going to work out exactly the way that it's supposed to work out. You just do your part and have a clean heart, clear heart, and you'll be fine.
But just to add on to that, I think I've always said, if the personal is rocky, it'll just spill over to the professionalism. It just will, right? Nothing's perfect, but try to do as much as you can to get it close as possible. You won't get perfection because, like I said, the profession will suffer. And like I said, people will pick up on it. Miss, you have really enlightened us today, my cuz, and you gave us some great gems.
Thank you, cuz.
Final question. Okay. Is there a question that I didn't ask that you would love to answer?
No, you did. I think you touched on. I think you touched on everything, because we touched on everything. The market, strategizing, pulling yourself together.
That's it. You see, guys, you got some, ladies and gents, you got some great insight from a young lady who's been licensed for 5 years, and she's elevated. Real estate broker, loan originator, and continue to do great
things
things throughout her career. Ms. Kalia, we thank you for being on the Headley Group Real Estate Show.
Yes.
And we're going to see you again. Now, this will be your second time. Second time? Third time. Third time. Second time. Yes. And again, for those who don't know, the first time we did it, she was in her car, right? We couldn't get the internet right, but she said, Mike, I'm coming back. And again, we want to thank you, and I really appreciate that.
Yes, and thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I love your audience. Your audience is dope. And I'm hoping anybody need anything from me, want to ask me questions, anything like that, I am an open book. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Kalia Nurse, Real Estate Pro.
You heard her. She's in Florida, and she will make it happen. Thank you all for tuning on the Headley Group Show, Headley Group Real Estate Show. We'll see you soon. You guys, take care. Hey, gang, I hope you really enjoyed that show. Our guests provide us some great tips and insight, and please support them on all social media platforms. And while I'm saying that, support us on all social media platforms, and don't forget, watch the entire video on YouTube. We'll see you next time.